I'm Mike Allen, Politico's chief White House correspondent, and welcome to Turn the Table. This week, the topic is the paradox of a president with big accomplishments but rough polls. We'll discuss it with David Gregory, Jake Tapper, Bob Schieffer, Chris Wallace, and Candy Crowley. Both Politico and the New York Times have pieces this week about the paradox between a president who accomplishes both health reform and banking reform, and yet seems to be back on his heels. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, I think it's amazing, and Politico really captured this week. You know, in 1994, under President Clinton, Democrats fared so poorly in that midterm election, and in part it's because Democrats couldn't get anything done. There was this chaos theory where they couldn't get anything passed. Here, the president has, as you say, achieved major elements of his agenda: financial reform, health care reform, and yet he hasn't seemed to really win the argument.
Right now, there's such division in this country as to what is in these bills. And so when it comes to health care, for example, the country is divided as to whether or not they think it will be a good thing for the country. Even fewer Americans think it will be a good thing for them personally. When it comes to Wall Street reform, they've heard so many conflicting things about what's in the bill, ranging from it's a far left-wing bill, as Senator Mitch McConnell says it will be, to the fact that many on the left, such as Senator Russ Feingold, say it doesn't go far enough, it won't prevent another financial collapse. So I think people aren't even sure necessarily what's in the legislation so as to know 100% how they feel about it.
Well, there's certainly no question that he has accomplished a lot. If you were going to do a legislative list, this is going to be a significant 2 years in terms of what President Obama will have accomplished. But look, in the end, it all comes down, no great insight here, to the economy.
We had a stimulus bill, a massive one that he passed as his first act, but most Americans don't actually think that the economy has gotten that much better. They're still upset. There's still a 9.5% unemployment. So you have that. Then you have health care. It still hasn't reached most Americans. I mean, the full brunt of health care and the full benefits of health care still haven't trickled down at all because so much is going on in the out years. And now you have financial reform, which I imagine most people don't get anyway. They understand that Wall Street is evil, and they understand that this will be more regulation, but not much has been made about the consumer elements of this particular bill. So I just think that people aren't feeling what the president is doing because it just hasn't affected their lives yet much.
I think when the economy gets better, the president's political fortunes will get better, as will those elected officials in the Congress. And if the economy doesn't get better, I think they better all be on their guard.
And Bob, is there time for that to happen by November? I guess that's 3 some months.
I think Democrats are in big trouble, but I think a lot of incumbent Republicans may also be in trouble, and I think it goes back to this economy. It may be a little late for a lot of people that are in the Congress right now. I think if the economy does begin to turn better by the time we get to the presidential elections, then I think the president's fortunes will improve considerably, quite frankly.
Well, look, it's always, I mean, it's almost a cliche, but it's very dangerous to make a straight line projection at any point, certainly several months out in politics, and say, well, because it's this way now, it's going to be this way several months from now. But you know, if you look back over the course of history, when you have an unemployment rate this bad, when you have a private sector doing this poorly and creating new jobs in July, and there's no reason to think it's going to change in the next month or so, pretty hard to imagine a set of circumstances that is going to dramatically change the public's view, voters' view, of the Obama administration and Democrats' handling of the economy between now and November.
Thank you for tuning in, and check out the full interviews with each host at Politico.com/turnthetable.